All right, guys. Online students, can you hear me? Okay. All right. Um, Before we get started, some few questions. I know you guys just did the first kind of math test per se. How did it go? I know some of the questions were hard. I know that test very well, but was it a good eye opener for you guys? How the test feels and how the questions can be tweaked?
Yeah.
Okay. How about online students? What did you guys think?
I thought it was good.
Yeah, so we are starting this a little early. This is our sixth class, and usually we don't start till eighth or ninth. But one of the things I've seen is once you guys kind of start realizing how the questions are framed, what type of questions it is, it'll give an awareness of how to prepare for it. Okay, so we may be doing more of this time than ever before. We usually do it once or twice, but we may be planning to do it more this time. So, next question is just raise your hands if you're done with the homework. All done here. How about online students can do this? One, two, three, four, five. Anybody who has not done the homework? All right. Um, so we had the fourth class when I was there. Then you guys had the fifth class. I'd gone for a quick vacation. Family had not gone for vacation for 2 years due to, of course, pandemic. So took the wife and kids to Miami. It was so nice just to get out and I don't know if you can see. I'm supposed to have some sunburn, but I think it's faded away already in this cold weather. um, but had a good time and then was Super Bowl. Then this is our sixth class. So um, raise your hands if you're taking the April 2nd test.
I think I.
Okay, anybody online? Ones. Okay. If you have taken the April 2nd ACT, make sure you have registered and stuff like that. The due date is February 25th. Okay. Um, with that, we're gonna get to the blue book. Sorry. Apologies. That's weird. Go to the blue book. We're gonna start with the science test. Last time I was here, we did the science strategies. Now we're gonna get to the science passages. Page 808. Now, on top of page 808, you should have a number. Tell me the number.
5723641.
So 5723641. Okay. So we're gonna be doing one passage at a time. Okay. And I'll control the time. This is the first time, so I'll maybe be giving a little bit more time. So let's go to passage 5. Now remember again, I want to reinforce that in the real test, you'll have only 6 passages. This test have 7 passages. So the number of questions per passage in the real test, don't start. In the real test will be a little bit more. In this one you have 5 minutes. First passage usually should take the least time because you think you have selected the easiest one. Okay? So do not read the passage. Get to the question directly. When they say figure 2, look only for figure 2. If they say table 1 and figure 2, look for table 1 and figure 2. Okay, nowhere else is the answer. Sounds good? This first passage has 5 questions. I'm going to give you guys maximum 4 minutes. No calculators are allowed. You have to be very focused and use common sense. Your time starts now. Get to question. All right. So I'm going to read out the answers for 23 to 27. Okay. BFB HC. Did anybody get all correct? One. Anybody here online? Two. One wrong.
Oh, I got one wrong.
Okay. Two. Okay. Three. Four. Any questions you want me to answer for you guys for passage 5? This is how we do science. If you have a question, you just want to ask, and we'll do it. Sure. All right. What's the next one we have selected? Next passage. 7. Okay, let's go. Remember, you're by keep. If you don't have a question, I understand. But if you have a question but you don't want to ask because others are not talking, please don't do that mistake. And students who are actually missing the class will be watching this video sometime this week. If you have any questions which these guys did not ask, you need to text me those questions so that I can get back to you guys so that you know how to do these things. Your job is not to do the formality here. You're really here to learn, okay? Passage 7. How many questions? 34 to 40, so 7 questions. I'm going to give you guys 6 minutes. Your time starts now. All right, time's up. So 34 to 40. HAJ, AGD, okay, I'm going to repeat 34. Okay. HAJ, AGD, and 40 is G. Did anybody get all correct? Online. One wrong. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. 2 wrong. Okay. Any questions? I'm going to reinforce this, guys. Last chance. If you have something you want to ask, you should ask, because I don't know how else you're going to learn. Any questions on passage 7?
Can you do 35?
Yeah, I was expecting hopefully somebody would ask 35. 35 has usually has, how many got 35 wrong? Let me see. 1, 2, 3. See, everybody got wrong here and nobody wants to ask. I know you guys are in high school, okay? This is not how colleges work, by the way. In colleges, if they don't know, they will say, I don't know. They don't give 2 shits about what others think about them. I know it's all high schoolish to think, oh my God, I don't want to be the dumb person. No. If you don't know something, not asking makes you, yeah, you get the point. You gotta ask. You're here to learn. And I knew I was actually planning to do 35 anyways, actually. Because I've seen them. How many wrote C as the answer? 1. Anybody online? C for 35? Okay. That's the most common wrong answer. Okay. So let's get to 35. Based on the passage, which of the following best represents the oxygen levels in one of the Great Lakes during the spring? Now, right in the middle of the passage, I'm going to read this for you guys. It says, this mixing. I hope you can figure that out where I'm at. This mixing, known as spring turnover, eliminates the temperature stratification that was established during the winter. In the absence of this thermal layering, wind continues to mix the water to a greater depth, bringing oxygen to the bottom of the lake and nutrients to the surface. This results in a relatively even distribution of oxygen throughout the lake. Even distribution, that means same. That means whether you're at the top of the surface of the lake or at the bottom, the oxygen is constant. That's why A is the answer, because whether it's a 0 depth or 20 meters depth, the oxygen stays at 6 milligrams per liter oxygen. See, that's why you need to ask. Please, I know there are some semesters I've experienced this here where students have not asked anything, even though we know that they have questions. I've done this for 14 years. Trust me, guys. Okay, so out of 6,000 students, there's no surprises. Those guys were honest. They're like, okay, still I expected a little bit more participation from them today, but still they asked almost 1 or 2 per passage. I'm not saying that if you don't have it, don't ask. I understand that, but if you have questions, you need to ask. You're here to learn. Anything else? All right. What's the next one's passage we selected? Okay, let's go to passage 2. Okay, this has 4 questions, but so starting this, when you guys do the real test, you will never see a passage with 4 questions, okay? Because that has changed. The format has changed. So I'm gonna give you guys 3 minutes time. Okay, that's plenty. I know this passage. Okay, your time starts now. Passage 2. Okay. 8 to 11. G D J A. Did anybody get all correct? 1, 2, 3. All right. Any questions?
Wait, what was number 9?
D. No questions?
Should I have a question?
No. No, you don't force yourself to, but if you have something, ask. Don't hold back. Just because others are not asking doesn't mean you should. I remember one time we had a student in this group, a regular level. She was the only one, and it was her questions were genuine, and she was like, Manoj, I'm sorry nobody's asking, but I have a question. It was one per passage she was averaging. It was good actually. Eventually, after like 3 weeks or so, people started to open up. I was like, why you're doing this? It just, and don't do this in college, by the way, because in college nobody's gonna care. They're gonna just move on. Oh, you have no questions? Goodbye. Boom.
Well, I guess for 11, you gotta use the table and the passage, right?
Yes.
But it only says using the passage. Does it do that a lot? Or like,
Very rarely.
okay.
Very rarely. Yeah, very rarely because the radon levels have to be greater than 4 to be in the zone 1. So, which is, but when they say according to the passage, that includes the table.
Okay.
So, but they're usually, when they want you to find information in a table or a figure or a picture, they're usually pinpointing you where it is because they know 35 minutes is very less. Okay, so we did 571. What's the next? 572. What's the next one?
3.
All right, and there are 5 questions. And I know that this and I don't know if you guys observed this. In this one, you'll have to just go back and forth. In the real test, that problem will never be there because the passage will be the left hand side, and the questions will be right hand side. So you don't have to flip back and forth. So I'm gonna give it 30 seconds extra for that reason because it can be distraction. So I'm gonna give you guys 5 minutes. Go. You don't need 5 minutes, trust me. Okay. 12 to 16. J, D, F, C, G.
What was 15?
C.
How did you get two
Sorry?
for 16? Why is it 2?
It's in like after, it's after the first year and before the marker for the second year. So it's within the second year.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. Sorry. That makes more sense, cause I kept debating on pick 1 or 2.
So it says, according, based on figure 1, during which year was the greatest number of prey animals available?
Cause it would be in year 1. But it's like between year 1
1 and 2.
But it would be,
So the question was not which year, basically they're asking which year were the greatest number of prey animals available, how many animals were available. So, but if you see the peak curve there, the what you call the apex, is it towards 1 or 2?
2.
That's the key thing there. ACTs do this a lot more in the past. Now it has reduced a little bit. But they want you to know an approximation method, which is expected in college. See, that the people don't understand why ACT is important. See, when you ask a question, we can lead into other things. Is they want to know your, reasoning skill, critical analysis skills in the college. So they're actually giving you a platform of what does college look like, and these are some things they expect in college. And trust me, people, when they go to college, they are surprised how these things will relate. And I know there is a conversation that the ACT and SAT doesn't really reflect a student's true performance. And I've never denied that it's not a true performance, but it's a very helpful tool for a college to know where you stand. Okay, so it's a pretty good indicator. It has worked for years and years and years, and it has been done in other countries too. So, all right, anything else? 12 to 16.
What did you say the answer to 12 was?
J. J, Maria.
Yep, thank you.
Okay. So we did 5, 7, 2, 3. What's the next one?
6.
Okay, let's go to 6. There is 6 questions. I'm gonna give you guys 5 minutes. If you need more time, we'll see. But I think 5 is good enough for this one. Your time starts now, passage 6. Time's up. Okay, question numbers 28 to 33. Did you guys need more time? I forgot to ask this one. Okay. Guys, maybe you've decided not to talk to me today. GDG DFB. Did anybody get all correct? 1, 2. 1 wrong. 1, 2, 3, 4. Questions?
It's number 32.
You want the answer for 32?
Well, no, wait.
Oh, okay. In experiment 2, how many seeds were planted in each clay pot? The students repeated experiment 1 with the following changes. So,
Oh, okay, I messed that up.
remember the first question is usually the easiest, okay? So that has to, there is usually something, but not always, but usually, okay? Let me see. Based on results of experiment 2, which soil type yielded the most overall growth after 28 days, okay? After. So, sand, the plant height. Looks like it has to be potting soil, G, because in potting soil, after 28 days, we had 5.3 plant height and a 6 leaves compared to the rest. I'm looking at table 3. That's experiment 2. What's that?
That makes sense.
Did you
I
take
was looking at table 2.
table 2? Mm-hmm. So remember, the table 2 corresponds to table 3 corresponds to experiment 2 here. Again, this is what they're looking for. Attention to details is what they're looking for. Yes.
What was the one? The D?
Yeah.
Okay, wouldn't A also be correct?
The results of soil type 3 in experiment 2, okay? And part number 4 in experiment 1.
Because that's included in the next two.
No, but there was no compost used in 4. It was 100% soil. And then, what was it, 3? There's no compost in any of the experiment number 2s. So, I mean, I put D because I felt like that was probably the right answer. But A is valid. I mean, I don't know. That just doesn't.
Okay, remember, go to page number 808. I know what you're getting to. I'll convince your answer pretty quick. If you read at the top directions, it says, after you have selected your answer, before that. This test includes 7 passages, each followed by several questions. Read the passage and choose the best answer to each question. Which is the best answer for that question? Okay. So remember, there was no indication of there was no compost, but the question was same amount of compost was used. So the wording was different here. But the same type of soil was used is more confirmatory than the A. Okay. It's funny, actually, we have had a lot of success with question number 31. Did anybody else get 31A? One. Aiden has A. Okay. Yeah, usually people have gotten D for that one. So, or Not A at least. I've seen that. All right. Okay, so we still have a couple more passages to do. Okay. Um, we'll continue working on that one. But I'm just going to be straightforward with you guys, and I've always been with my students that if you don't ask, you will not learn. Then during the exam time, you wonder why I didn't do it. It's too late at the time. Don't hesitate to ask questions. You got to open up. This is how colleges are going to go, and it's in a blink of an eye, the semester gets done. You know, you should ask questions when there is a good reason and you have given your good thought, and you know what, I still don't get it. And you should not care what others think. You just can't. You don't care what the professor thinks because you have paid your money to learn. And if you cannot do that, then it's not going to help you guys. I'll see you guys next week. Have a good weekend. Bye-bye.